2007. This is Nocturnal TV, a show dedicated to underground and live music here in Sydney. Man, we have a great show for you, but first, my name's Feeple.
And I'm Alex Freg. And welcome to a new season of Nocturnal. And we've got some really great stuff coming up for you today, like...
Well, we've got a bit of Radiant City. I think there's some... The bird.
Birds. Well, for our Big Glasses episode, we think we need nothing less than a bit of Zombie Ghost Train and Waiting for Guinness.
Yeah, I actually really like your big glasses.
I quite like your big glasses.
Do you want to swap?
All right.
Brilliant. All right, so who's first up?
Well, I think the birds are first up.
Okay, let's go. Check it out. You're watching Nocturnal.
You're watching Nocturnal.
One of the legends of the Sydney underground music scene, the Bird bring talented musicianship and world rhythms to the dance floor. Made up of keyboardist Simon Durrington, drummer Ben Walsh, bassist Barry Hill, and Bobby Singh on tabla, we were lucky enough to catch up with them down at the Manning Bar.
So Si and I have been doing it for over 10 years. I think we're hitting 11 or 12 or something, can't keep track. But we've been basically started off loving electronic music and as live musicians wanting to get amongst it. So in doing so, we kind of made our own breed or our own sound. At first, I remember we were playing like Tuesday nights, no one was dancing, they were going, is this a band or a DJ? Or sounds kind of, it was interesting, but over the years, people have learnt that, live music can be danced to as hard or in its own way.
When we make music, it's not like someone composes something and then, oh, you're going to do this or you're going to do that. We improvise, that's what we come. My background is Indian classical music, it's improvisation. Baz's background is all sorts of instruments, but a lot with jazz. And so he improvises, bends, but so we all come from improvisation backgrounds. So when we actually got together and played, that was the result of it.
I think predominantly what we're into is a sense of the four people, communicating completely live on stage and not so much locked into a set tempo, but more so just being able to really move the tempos up and down, feed off the crowd, see, okay, they're into this, like, yeah, pick it up, we're gonna speed up, or... That's one.
I think it's actually really great to see people who are sort of usually used to going out to clubs and going to dance parties and stuff actually interacting with real musicians and real musical instruments and going, wow, what are these things?
I get incredible inspiration from programmers and DJs and how they move crowd and what beats are going on, but we learn both the skills of being an instrumentalist and learning melody and rhythm and the fundamental ingredients of music. And then we also, work with synths and samplers. And when you know both languages, there's a beautiful, marriage that can be formed.
But in this context, I come and play, and a lot of people actually hear the tabla and go, oh, that's really interesting, and start getting interested into fusion music, and from there start going, well, what's the purer form of this music? And then where does this music come from? And start getting interested in India, Indian culture, all sorts of things. So.
experienced sort of the amazing sort of musicality of cultures that come from India, that come from Africa, that come from South America, where all the music is created live, but it's still created for a dance party scene. Like the dance party happens on beaches, it happens on streets, it doesn't necessarily happen on clubs and sort of seedy bars like it does in Western society. But we've all sort of experienced that and gone, wow, that's an amazing feeling, and that's an amazing sort of experience. And it feels more like an organic cultural experience that the people are creating, and because as a musician you can really see what the crowd wants and you can react instantly.
Thanks, guys. Cool.
It's the Big Sunny's edition of Nocturnal TV, and we were just watching The Bird, who I have to say have some of the best percussion in Australia. And I don't know, I lived in Byron Bay for a little while, so I've actually bought a drum, but I'm shit at it. Have you ever tried drumming?
I think I have a little bit of rhythm, but really I don't think drumming's my thing.
How bad is it when you're camping and then the fucking drumming circle starts and they're all shit and you're like, shut up?
It's a step away from fire sticks at that stage. You know it, I know it. First the tambourine, then the percussion, then the fire sticks.
I've had fire sticks and poise too. Anywho, on to the next band.
Okay, so I went and checked out Zombie Ghost Train, who are pretty crazy hillbillies who've been killed, brought back from the dead, and have come back to talk to you in their hillbilly way about the afterlife and rock and roll. And they're pretty fun, so you should check out this little segment.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! Hi, this is Alex for Nocturnal, and we're here with Zombie Ghost Train. We've just seen their set. Guys, I believe you have a new album coming out. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we actually are recording it at the moment. It won't be out for a little while because a la Def Leppard style. It's a 10 million years in production.
And well over budget.
Yes.
And pulling us at all ends. That is still current in the rest of the world is being released very shortly in the States.
Yes, we have actually a German label called Fiend Force Records that are putting out our new album. That comes out in November. I love Channel 31. It's my favourite.
She's a
And what else are we talking about today, Alex?
2007, what's on the slate?
2007, we have an album coming out in April. Again, Untitled. And then we go back to Europe to do some Spain traveling.
You been to Spain before that?
Española.
No, that's why we fresh Spanish virgins.
Oh.
We'll be looking for, and we are too.
Senoritas.
That's right.
Dead senoritas.
Bit of running with the bulls, bit of throwing the tomatoes and oranges.
CC, Pamplona.
CC, senor.
Tomatoes up to here.
That's right.
It'd be sort of like gore, really, but
right.
Yeah, blood.
tastier.
I mean, wow.
What else are we doing? That's about it. We're going back to the States again, probably in 2007.
And maybe Japan.
And working on our plans.
Thank you very much, folks. We'll see you next time.
Welcome to Dating Tips with Stefan. When you're having a deep and meaningful conversation with a girl and then they ask you for your name, you say you're Dr. Phil. And when they say, isn't it that guy off TV? You say, yes, that's me. And this was Dating Tips with Stefan.
Yo, you're watching Nocturnal TV. We were just watching Zombie Ghost Train. What did you reckon?
I think those psychobilly boys really have something. I think they're a whole lot of fun. They've got a lot of spunk, a lot of energy, despite being dead, and you can't take that away from them.
Well, they made me do a poo in my pants. I think they're scary. But I'm a big girl.
A little bit of fear is a good thing, I think.
Okay, so the next band we're going to watch actually call themselves Inebriated. Inebriated?
It's like being drunk.
Yeah, that's...
At the moment, you can see that.
Drunk folk music, inebriated folk music, which I think is a genre never heard before, but worth tuning into. They're called Waiting for Guinness. Let's check them out on Nocturnal.
On Nocturnal.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Welcome to Nocturnal. We're with Marco from Waiting for Guinness at the Newtown Festival. That was an awesome set. First up, how'd you convince them to let you have an encore? That's pretty rare here.
I don't know. I don't think we were meant to have one, but you know, people were asking for it, so.
You got like so many different influences. How did all these kind of different influences come together?
I suppose it's. I mean, we rock up to rehearsal with a song that we might have in mind, but we keep it pretty loose and open so that the band can kind of have fun with it and maybe just give it the sound that the band produces. So the influences come from everywhere.
Your bass guitar is a pretty rare one in this country, yeah?
Yeah, it's called a guitarrón, which is just basically means big guitar in Spanish, and it's the bass that the mariachis play in Mexico on the street because it resounds a lot louder than a normal bass and it's easier to carry around.
So you got a bit of Mexican, you got a bit of gypsy, you got a bit of, I don't know, punk or whatever you call it. Why does this sound like resonate with local Sydney-siders, you reckon?
I don't know, I suppose it's because it's played with a certain amount of abandon. We don't really, we're not really precious about the way we present it. It's kind of like the way it is, and it's quite volatile, and I think people really pick up on that and they want to, they want to see something entertaining, and sounding great and politically savvy, and there's a lot of great lyrics, and I don't know why they like it, but I can sort of understand it. They like the sort of vibe of it.
alone with all my fears. I drink a bottle of whiskey and the blue screen dries my tears. I build a tent and I pay no rent. A rabbit on about a coloured past where the money's all been spent. The money's all been spent. The money's all been spent.
Just on your lyrics, how important is it to be political? Like, is that just something that just kind of comes out naturally with you guys?
Well, there's a lot to be political about, I'd say, in the last few years. So, you know, we feel quite strongly about America and about cultural imperialism. And we'd like to do a few songs that broach those subjects without sort of dictating or being didactic.
Step out on the city street and try to get me something to eat. Hold my hands out and try my luck. I hold my long for a lousy buck. You bastard, shuffle past me in your power suit. Yeah, got slick hairdo, snakeskin boots. Got a story if you let me an ear, but I'm just a shadow with a bottle of beer. I'm just a shadow with a bottle of beer. I'm just a shadow with a bottle of beer.
And I understand you got a new album coming out. What's it called and when's it coming out? And tell us about where'd you record it?
Sure. The album's called Friend or Foe, and it's our third album. We recorded at Megaphone Studios in St. Peters, which is a fantastic studio for us. We recorded around the World Cup. It's a very eclectic album. There's 5 songwriters in the band. We all sort of wrote about 2 songs each, so it has a great feel, basically.
Definitely. Marco from Waiting for Guinness, thank you for your time.
Thanks a lot.
And make sure you check out Waiting for Guinness.
Thank you.
Hey, you're back on Nocturnal with Alex and Fee Poole, and coming up...
Oh, well, before we get to that, you've forgotten to mention something.
The sunglasses. You want me to talk about the sunglasses, don't you?
I like my sunglasses.
They're now yellow, and they're changing with increasing frequency.
This is the big Sunnies issue of Nocturnal TV, episode 1. Season's back on again, and we're bringing you some of the best bands. Check out this next one. They're called Radiant City. They were playing at the Annandale Hotel, although they are from Melbourne, and they're releasing some really hot stuff. So turn your eyeballs to this.
On Nocturnal.
I'm Brad. We're from Radiant City. I'm Andrew from Radiant City. Yeah, we started and it was a bit of a slow start because we were still studying and everything, and then we sort of got together and just sort of had a few sort of sporadic practices and jams here and there, and then once we finished studying and everything kind of took off and sort of got a bit more serious about what we were doing as well, and that was it.
So you have a new EP out.
We recorded it ourselves. We set up a studio in my house and decided that we'd sort of do it on our own and put some money into setting up a studio and everything. So we stuck at it. It took a while. We sort of spent more time building the studio than recording. Money restrictions and time restrictions in the studio just kind of didn't lend
itself to what we're doing really, and we kind of wanted to experiment a bit more with our own sounds and just, you know, set up shop in Andrew's lounge room and just started getting to know the equipment and buying different equipment. So it was quite a long process,
but
a lot of trial and error.
It was totally worth it though in the end. We've actually toured around the country in January this year, which was really good. Went to Perth, basically everywhere except Brisbane. We went the first time round, and but we've basically played everywhere now except Darwin, pretty much. Darwin and Tassie, the only two places we haven't really been to in terms of capital cities. So it's been really good. Playing music and getting to see the country at the same time. It's kind of We've actually had vocals in our music, but it just kind of ended up, just evolved with the set that we're sort of playing at the moment. It just happens to be instrumental songs. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to stay like that. We were a three-piece, and our bass player decided to move on to other things, and he was also playing in another band, and we had a gig coming up about 2 weeks after he left, and it was a really, really good gig, and we didn't want to cancel, we didn't want to pull out, so we thought, well, let's just try and do it, the two of us. And so we did it, and at the end of the gig we kind of looked at each other and said, well, it kind of works.
That's pretty much it for the first episode of this season of Nocturnal.
We'll be back next week with interviews from bands like Because of Ghosts.
That'll do, won't it?
And a whole bunch more. Check ya.
Check ya.